Hello again, and welcome to Paris Set Me Free Paris Photo Tutorials. I'm going to take you to the centre of Paris once again, and I'll just take you down, see if we can actually see this in real life. That's looking across the river. There's the bridge. If we take it around a bit, you can see the edge of Notre Dame, and coming around with a bit of luck, we've got a nice view of what I'm going to talk about. Now that little road there is absolutely amazing. It's very touristy, but it's lovely little streets full of restaurants. There's the train, the RER, the famous bookshop full of the yellow things are full of Gibert Jaune, it's called Gibert Jaune, I can never remember. And there's the fountain we're going to look at. There you see, Fountain Saint-Michel, very spectacular, right in the middle, on the end of a building, but looks like a thing in its own right. And so that's what we're going to look at today. There you are, zooming in, and you can see this guy here. He's holding aloft. There's all the people milling around. There's a couple of sort of lion, dragon, dog things at the bottom. I've taken many photographs of this, and what I'm going to show you is one that I took recently. And it's always a challenge to take photographs of things which you've taken many times before, always trying to make them original. So there I was, took this photograph, as I've done very many times before, but you know, I hadn't taken exactly this photograph. And what's different in this one to all the others? Well, very often I sneak up to these lion dog things and put their head just down in front of him and make it look as though he's looking directly at the lion dog thing, about to kill it. I talk about depth of field, so I either have him sharp and the lion dog's head fuzzy, or the inverse. And it's a very nice photograph. I throw in an angle or so on. But inspired by the people I was with, no doubt, one of them found another angle, and I thought, okay, good, let's try that. And what actually happened was what you can see here. Now just have a think about it, and before I talk about it, and imagine what you think the strong points of this photograph are. Think about light and shade, think about shapes, think about repetition, and think about colours. Now this isn't a particularly colourful photograph, but you know and I know that we have little things we can do afterwards. So what looks like a bit of a dull photograph isn't necessarily so if you aren't desperately keen to produce exactly what you see and not fiddle with it at all. So a bit of fiddling is okay, I reckon, because what I liked about this initially, can you guess? Well, two things. One was the lighting. The lighting is skimming across the front of these things here, the edge here, which means this is dark and this is light. Particularly good with bodies, and you see it skimming across the edge of his stomach. Look in any bodybuilding magazine and you'll see plenty of side lighting, I assure you, to make those abs stand out and those pecs push towards you. Anyway, that's what's happened here. Whenever you want to show exaggerate contrast and surface and texture, just skim a light across it and Bob's your uncle. So that's what's happening here. Especially good for curves, because if something is curved, we expect one of the ways our brains determines that something is curved or not is when there's normally a light source, and we developed the faculties we have now in times when we didn't have light bulbs and multiple light sources. We had the sun or we didn't have the sun. So there was one light source coming from one side, which meant that anything facing it was light and anything not facing it was dark. So, I mean, that's how artists work. How do artists make it look like it's a round body on a flat piece of canvas? By using the same thing. So light side means we think it's towards, dark side means we think it's away from a light, and the change makes us think, the gradual change, although it's quite a striking change here, quite a quick change, makes us think that it's round. even as you're looking at it now, if you imagine, it's not really round what you're looking at. You're looking at a flat screen, buddy. But, you know, we forgot about that, didn't we? We thought, oh, that's a nice statue. We didn't think that's a nice flat picture, which is only 0 microns thick, did we? So, I love the lighting, and maybe you guessed, I hope you guessed, if you're developing your sense of aesthetics. Look at the arm, curving up over to the left with the finger pointing out, and look at this, absolutely perfectly echoing it. Now that is fantastic, isn't it? I think it is. I mean, it's great. You know, it goes from thick here. This kind of represents the elbow, as it were, getting thinner, twisting away there, twisting away at the wrist. So that could be the wrist, that could be the elbow, and this kind of thing on the end could be the finger. You know, I mean, it's unbelievably, wonderfully lucky stance. How can you call it? It wasn't luck as I saw it, but it was luck because those two things were near each other. The original here, as you'll see, is bigger than the one I finished with. I cropped it, in other words. Let's have a look at the final version. I've made it bigger, or the other one's smaller, so that you can see this in full detail. There it is, in all its glory. And you'll see quite a few things have changed. Let's go back to the original. For a start, maybe the most obvious thing is it's been brightened up drastically. You know, comparing this with this. Look at the detail you've got here. All the detail in these shadows, the detail there in the carvings, on his body plate. You've got intricate little sort of, I don't know, arabesque type shapes. You can see the individual feathers beautifully. Go back to the murky old original, and it's not so amazing, is it? So look at that. It's almost black. It's almost, you'd say, oh well, never mind, next time. And yet, look what you can do with this photograph. So don't give up. And also, what's happened as well is the colours have come out. If you look at this, there's two overriding colours. This is a colour photograph where I haven't reduced the amount of colours or anything. I've just exaggerated what was already there. And I think you can see that there's, what's happened is some of it's kind of gone or stayed grey, and the bits where there were bits of colour have actually gone very much towards either this sort of browny orange, rusty orange, or this lovely chilly shadowy blue, which is rather superb, I think. Those two colours go fantastically together. I remember I went through a childhood phase where my two favourite colours were orange and blue, so that's probably coming back. When I changed from that, I had another phase where they were purple and green. But anyway, so there you have this photograph with 2 or 3 elements which I'm really happy with. I've cropped in, trying to put this into the corner, leaving enough wing because that's lovely and it curves down and goes out there, but I didn't want too much of the wing because I wanted this to be the main area. Going down, I wanted enough blue to contrast with the orange. That's a lovely corner sort of thing going up there, which gives a very interesting bit on the top left to kind of, I don't know, highlight this or point to this if you like. And then down here you've got enough blue here. This blue beautifully completes this corner and closes off this corner here. We don't really want to be looking up his skirt. Sorry, tunic or whatever. And then you've got a tiny bit of blue there, which is really good because it's great to have a bit of repetition. You know, you've got a bit of blue there and a big chunk of blue there, and then going back here, you've got a big chunk of blue here and a orange here and a little chunk of orange here. So all in all, very happy with this photograph. Not least because it's something I've taken so many times, and I'm so glad to have found something which I'm really genuinely really happy with, which I wasn't expecting. You know, having taken the same old thing so many times. So there it is. That was it for this time. Thanks very much for watching. See a really nice quality version of this on the blog at parissetmefree.blogspot.com or on the main site. Thanks very much and see you next time in Paris. Bye bye.
Depuis que je suis à Paris, le jour et la nuit, je suis gris. J'ai compris la douceur de vivre. Je suis fou de joie, je suis ivre. Depuis que je suis à Paris.